Hello boys, we all know that PlayStation fanboys are incredibly envious of the fact that they're not going to be able to play Halo Infinite, so whenever 343 releases anything about the game, PlayStation fanboys have to go out of their way to scrutinize and criticize every single tiny little detail of the game, even though none of their criticisms make any fucking sense whatsoever. So a couple of days ago, 343 released a new trailer of the Halo Infinite campaign, and as expected, PlayStation fanboys decided to shit all over it for no reason whatsoever. So today we're going to be looking at a video by Crapgamer, where he is going to tell us exactly why Halo Infinite will be an awful game, and you shouldn't buy it. Let's go.
Everybody kept saying, wait until the Halo Infinite campaign gets revealed, then we'll see what 12 teraflops of power can do for the Xbox Series X.
I would like to see the people who are actually fucking saying this. Do you have any, examples of people saying this? No, you don't, because no one says this, because nobody is dumb enough to think that for some reason the campaign would look better than the multiplayer, even though they're running on the same console in the same engine. Also, can we just stop using teraflops to compare consoles to each other? I know for a fact that nobody watching this video, like 99% of the people watching this video, do not know what a teraflop is. I just read an entire article explaining what a teraflop is and I still don't fucking understand it. What I did understand though is that teraflops is a very bad way of comparing hardware to each other, mainly because nobody knows what it means, especially not someone like Crapgamer, a dude with literal negative brain cells.
Then yesterday, we got a preview of what the campaign of Halo Infinite is actually going to be, and on the same day, Sony dropped new footage and new information about Horizon Forbidden West, which is obviously a single-player, narrative-driven game.
Wow, Sony made a single-player, narrative-driven game? Is it third-person with stealth and RPG elements as well? Does it have cinematic cutscenes? Like, come on, that's literally every single game Sony makes nowadays. Like, I'm not trying to shit on Horizon, because it actually looks pretty cool. But like, come on Sony. Do something original.
Now, what's interesting is how far and how fast people go to sort of discredit, just because it's a single-player game, that it looks so much better than something like Halo Infinite. We're going to get into this. I can't wait to dive in and talk about this topic, because I feel like it's a topic that everybody is going to want to chime in on, and I think it's just going to be something that really is going to be exciting. So I can't wait. Let's go ahead and...
Hey man, how about instead of talking about how much you can't wait to talk about the game, you actually start fucking talking about it, you piece of shit.
Get started, shall we? What's up, everybody? It's me, Crapgamer.
Ah yes, of course, the infamous second intro, the one thing all true Sony ponies have in common. Although Crapgamer is kind of unique in the sense that he doesn't just play two intros right after each other, he plays one intro and then 3 minutes later announces that the intro is finally over and he's now going to start the video, even though the video already started like 3 fucking minutes ago. Anyway, doesn't matter.
And this is, of course, Crapgamer Reviews, your home for gaming news, opinions,
What the fuck is going... Just speak about the topic, man. Don't waste my goddamn time. Hi, so while Crapgamer is rambling about nonsense or whatever, I just want to remind you that most of you aren't subscribed according to YouTube statistics, so please, if you end up liking this video, subscribe.
We saw Halo Infinite over a year ago, and it didn't look good.
Yeah, neither does your video, mate. I know that's unrelated to it, but while I was watching his video, I genuinely thought to myself that, like, my internet must be fucked, because why does it look so pixely, you know? So I turned it up to 1080p, and nothing changed. So I don't know why his footage is so fucked, but it's not my fault, I tried. Also, yeah, when we first saw Halo Infinite, it didn't look good, and then they showed it off to us again in July during the E3, and it looked like 10 times better, so yeah.
In fact, it looked pretty terrible, and there were memes made about it, and people were talking about how bad it looks. Now, when we look at what's going on with Halo Infinite now, over a year later, and clearly somewhat better.
No, not just somewhat better, drastically better. Like, it was a huge improvement. I don't know, maybe you just weren't capable of seeing that, Crapgamer, since you also thought that this video looked good enough to be uploaded.
But it's a single-player campaign, right? And it's a single-player campaign that should take full advantage of a 12 T-flop Xbox Series X. And yet, from what we can see so far, it doesn't really look like that's the case. From what we've been able to kind of decipher, some things look better clearly, but you would expect some of these minor things to look better. But when you look at what's going on, like behind the scenes, look at Craig the Brute, for instance, they seem to cover up with armor or like facial hair, and it doesn't exactly look amazing. It doesn't look like that big showpiece that we should be having.
No, they didn't just cover him up with armor and hair. Here's a picture of Craig, the Brute, before the game had this huge like visual overhaul. And here's a picture of him after, and you can actually see that they didn't just add hair, they restructured the entire facial model.
On a next generation console, even though it's current gen and we're a year into it. Now, when we look at something like Horizon Forbidden West, it already looked gorgeous. I mean, a lot of people tried to compare it to the first game, which is fair enough, because obviously it's going to have that same aesthetic. And with what we've seen in the new gameplay and things like that, they've really changed a ton of what's going on with this, right? So basically what we've seen is a situation where Sony has improved and Guerrilla Games has improved the gameplay, the traversability, the way that you completely move around, and it's more of a vertical type game and so much more options when it comes to the gameplay. And then when you look at Halo Infinite, there's not really that big change for a franchise that's, 20 years old.
Holy fucking shit, how are PlayStation fanboys this dumb? Everything you just said about Horizon Forbidden West can be applied to Halo Infinite. All of it. Halo went from being a level-based game to being an open-world shooter. Like, what you just said about Horizon Forbidden West, the gameplay is different, there are new ways to traverse the map, the movement is different, all that shit applies to Halo Infinite as well. And I would say that applies to Halo Infinite more so because Halo actually changed completely from being a level-based game again to being an open-world game. While Horizon Forbidden West doesn't look that much different from Horizon Zero Dawn.
And I think that people are probably starting to notice that. I feel like, at the end of the day, it's going to be one of those things where people are going to probably say, hey, Halo looks good. And I agree. I think it looks like a fun game. It looks like a Halo game. But it doesn't look like a true next generation iteration like what we saw with some big jumps in Halo before.
This is the biggest change in Halo's gameplay ever. It just is. The game went from being level-based to being open world. That's all I have to say about it. How is completely changing the formula of a video game franchise not a big enough change? It's completely different. It's the same when God of War went from being a hack-and-slash game to being whatever it is now. Third-person action RPG.
I'll be honest with you, there seems like there was a much bigger jump with Halo 3 to Halo 4 on the Xbox 360 than there has been between Halo 5 and Halo Infinite in terms of the graphical leap and things like that.
Yeah, in terms of the graphics and that, maybe, I don't know, I haven't looked at any Halo 5 footage recently and I really can't be bothered to look it up. But the gameplay is completely different, and isn't that what matters, since, you're playing a video game? I would say that the gameplay is more important than what the game looks like. And also, visually, the art style is completely different from Halo 5. And I'm willing to bet that there is also a huge graphical change between the two as well. Maybe you can't see it as clearly as with Halo 3 and Halo 4, but we've kind of gotten in that point in time where, there won't be a huge difference in graphics between console generations anymore.
In fact, I would also go on record as saying, when it comes down to it, like the Brutes, they didn't really do much with Craig. They don't look that much more detailed, and to be honest with you, I'm not sure. I tried to look at the trailer breakdown, and it doesn't necessarily say that I could see if it was captured on Xbox, but it wouldn't surprise me if this game was captured on high-end PC, and what we're going to see on Xbox Series X even is going to be even much less than what's noted here.
Yeah, so first of all, like I earlier already said, they completely changed the facial model of the Brutes in Halo Infinite. And second of all, yeah, I couldn't find either if the game was recorded on a PC or on a console, but the same goes for the fucking Horizon trailer. And you might be, yeah, but Horizon Forbidden West isn't gonna come to PC. No, but the game is being developed on a PC like all games are, and therefore it can be ran on said PC. I don't know, it's also kind of weird to just assume that they must have run it at a high-end PC, because there's no way the Xbox Series X could make it look like this.
So I do think that, obviously the graphics aren't the most important thing, but you would still rather have something that's really going to push the graphical fidelity that they can kind of take advantage of. And I also feel like that's something that that's going to be very, very much interested to a lot of people. Now, when we look at it,
yeah, man, I don't think graphics are the most important thing, but I just made an entire video talking about how the graphics of Halo Infinite sucks and therefore it's not going to be a good game. Yeah, man, that's how it works, bro. You're a fucking genius, man. You got like some high level IQ. I don't even know.
Horizon Forbidden West, I also think that it's definitely something that everybody should look into, and that everybody should kind of look at it side by side. If you look at Horizon Zero Dawn, it's a very, very pretty game. It's a nice game to look at, and I also think that it's just something that realistically a lot of people will probably look at and go, oh, well, that's just another narrative game. Well, that's the whole point, right? They put their effort into the single player, and then you look on the Halo side, and that's supposed to have both, but the single player looks pretty dated.
They literally changed the entire gameplay formula of Halo, but yeah, man, it's already dated. It's not even come out yet, and it's the first game in the Halo franchise with like different gameplay and that. But it's already dated because Crapgamer said so, man. And he knows everything, he's the expert. If you couldn't tell, I'm being sarcastic. Anyway, boys, after this point he doesn't say anything of value anymore. The only thing he says that might be of some interest to you is that he says that Halo Infinite should be delayed again. Yeah, I don't care. The game looks fine to me. Nobody else besides PlayStation fanboys seem to have a problem with what the game looks like. Which is funny to me because PlayStation fanboys are the only people who aren't going to be able to play this game. But that being said, ladies and gentlemen, if you like this video, please like and subscribe. And I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.